Hello, today we are going to see the rotor. Let us revise by looking at the video. Okay, so we look at the specifications or a little bit more detail of what is a rotor, um, how a fiber collection is done at the rotor stage. Rotor acts as the fiber collecting as well as the twisted inserting element. Yarn formation takes place at the rotor groove. Also, the fibers are separated from the transport air in the rotor. Either the air flows over the rotor wall, over the edge, as we have already discussed this last time, or through the holes of the base of the rotor. Transfer of the fibers fed from the fiber guide channel into the rotor groove occurs with the help of a rotor wall. So let us see how the wall is shaped and what are the speeds that are expected here. The peripheral speed of the inside wall of the rotor must be significantly higher than the speed at which the fibers are transferred to the rotor wall. This particular place is the area where we apply a third draft, as we have already mentioned it earlier. The first draft is at the opening roller and the feed stage. The second is in the fiber channel, and the third draft that gets applied is at the rotor wall. Because of the speed differences, the rotor speed would be much higher as compared to the speed of the fibers that are being transferred. So due to this difference in speed, the fibers are accelerated to many times their transport speed, and the fibers tend to slip downwards from the rotor wall into the rotor groove. The fibers are extended in the longitudinal direction when the fibers encounter the rotor wall and promotes the fiber parallel arrangement in the rotor groove. So this is the diagram which shows all the parts involved. You can see the draw of tube here, the fiber collection groove that is there. There's a transport air which might come over the edge of the rotor, the edge that we have been talking about, and this is the fiber feed, which is a tangential feed to the rotor. So now the inside of the diameter of the rotor, as you can see, the shape of the rotor is like a cup, which is widening towards the as you go downwards towards the groove. It is widening in the direction of the rotor groove. This helps in increasing the centrifugal force acting on the fibers. That means centrifugal force also depends on the diameter of this place or the area, the rotor. So as you go downwards, the centrifugal force tends to increase, and this force acts on the fibers and ensures that the fibers are neatly deposited in the longitudinal direction from the rotor wall to the rotor groove. So ultimately the fibers fall on the rotor wall and slip into the rotor groove below due to the centrifugal force. So this is the image of a typical rotor. There are three diameters that are shown. Yarn quality, yarn character, operating performance and productivity all are mainly dependent on the rotor. So to look at the parts of a rotor, we would say that this is a rotor shaft, which is marked as A over here. Then the C, that is marked as the rotor groove. This you would call it as a rotor cup, and D is the rotor wall, as we know. The most important parameters of the rotor that exert an influence are rotor wall inclination, coefficient of friction between the fiber and the surface of the rotor wall, the design and positioning of the rotor groove, as well as the rotor groove diameter and rotor speed. So these are the five important things that influence the rotor parameters, or these are the rotor parameters which will influence the yarn quality. Important rotor parameters. So first we talked about the angle. So angle of the rotor ball to the vertical, it ranges from 12 to 50 degrees, and this angle you can see it over here shown as A, and it should vary from it can vary from 12 to 50 degrees. So this angle will depend on the rotational speed. Higher the rotation speed, smaller would be the angle. The groove varies in width and it serves to collect the fibers. The groove that is shown here, that is C over here, this has got also an angle over here, and the width, it serves as the collecting device. Here, this is the place where the fibers will get collected. The rotor groove determines whether the yarn is bulky or compact, hairy or lean. So depending on the groove, the shape of it and the angle that we give to the groove, that will decide what kind of yarn we are producing. The groove also affects the extent to which the dust and dirt tend to accumulate in the rotor groove. The groove design is selected it depends on the raw material and the desired yarn characteristics. Wide groove, if you have a wide groove over here, then it will produce a soft bulky yarn with low strength. If the groove is very narrow, the angle is too narrow, then it will produce a compact, strong and yarn with low hairiness. Wide grooves are therefore used in the production of yarns for knitted fabrics and coarse articles, while narrow grooves are used for producing stronger fabrics with a smooth appearance. Also, another parameter that you see here is this D, which is the diameter of the rotor. So we come to the surface treatment that is applied to rotors. Rotors are mainly made of steel and are surface treated or coated to give them a longer useful life. They may be subjected to a wear during their running due to the large quantity of fibers that are being processed. Then there is a existing centrifugal force, and also due to the abrasive components that might be present in the raw material that we are processing. So because of all these factors, the rotor is subjected to a lot of wear and tear, and the life might reduce. So to increase the life of the rotor, they are coated with either a diamond, nickel or boron. They are treated, and because of these coatings, the working life may be around 30,000 hours. Diamond coating consists of diamond dust embedded in nickel layer. Boronized rotor with the additional layer of diamond coating will have twice the life of a diamond coated rotor. The rotor coating influences the yarn quality, spinning stability, and a tendency to form deposits in the rotor groove. So therefore, the best compromise would between a long life and yarn quality as well as stable spinning conditions would be to use a combined boron diamond coating. The rotor must be replaced periodically due to wear, and this wear we normally find it in the rotor groove, because of which the rotor needs to be changed. Otherwise, the yarn quality in terms of its compactness, hairiness, etc., that we have seen earlier, it will change. So we come to the rotor speed. Increase in the rotor speed is only possible if there is a simultaneous decrease in the rotor diameter. From this particular graph or the diagram, we see that our smallest rotor diameter, which is 28 mm, you can run it at a speed of 1,60,000 rpm. Whereas if you keep on increasing the diameter, the speed needs to be accordingly reduced. Each rotor diameter is assigned with a maximum speed that can be achieved depending on the spinning stability and energy consumption. So there is another factor which is involved here, that is the energy consumption. So when you look at this graph over here, you see different roller diameters that are represented here, the rotor speeds and the energy consumption that you can see over here. So as the rotor speed goes on increasing, but natural the energy consumption for each of these rotor diameters keeps on increasing. But at the same time, you see that the smaller the diameters, the better it is from the point of view of energy consumption for the same speeds. So smaller diameter, you can conserve some amount of energy. The rotor diameter must be large enough to permit fiber formation. The large rotor is therefore used for coarse yarns so as to provide space for the large fiber mass. Also, the rotor diameter should not exceed 1.2 times the staple length that we are going to process. So we come to the next topic of rotor cleaning, which is equally important. Automatic rotor cleaning is an important function of rotor spinning. Although some cleaning takes place through the opening roller housing that we have seen earlier, some dust particles manage to reach the rotor end and get deposited in the rotor groove along with the fibers. These deposits interfere with the twist insertion and leads to thread breakages or end breakages, and also tend to change the rotor groove geometry. Non-uniform deposits in the rotor groove may lead to periodic faults in the yarn known as Moir effect. And the Moir effect would appear, this is on the wrapping board. This will look something similar in a fabric. So it's a defect due to the periodic fault which may be there because of non-uniform deposits. Whatever, if your rotor cleaning is not done properly, it will lead to this kind of Moir effect. So we come to the end of this lecture. Thank you.